Hi everyone, Digga here, and today I'm taking a look at the Kamen Rider Kids Revice Toujou candy toys. Basically, Bonnet makes a bunch of these little candy toys that are sort of like finger puppets for all their different properties, and this is the newest release that comes with pretty much all of the riders from the Heisei era and the Reiwa era. Let's get started. Can you dig it? You'll see on the front you have Revi and Vice in black and white. There's these little pull tabs here that open up the entirety of the box, sort of like it would be on display in a toy store. Off to this side, a bigger picture of Vice, and as expected, not much on the back. It's a lot of labeling and random stuff, barcodes, whatnot. There's Revi. And then on the top, you have the 24, so there's 24 boxes in here. And I believe it should also have Revi and Vice, because all of the images from Ami Ami and stuff showed that it had pretty much everyone from Kuuga to Saber. And then there were two not shown ones, so kind of obvious here. It might be one of these two guys. Revi and Vice are actually the newest riders in the franchise, and they're a 2-in-1 combination. Basically, this guy has an inner demon who is this guy, and they kind of unite and then split through these things called Vice stamps. So here's the Megalodon one, which is representative of Kamen Rider Decade. And they basically just kind of plonk it on, stamp, and it's a fun time. All right, enough talk. Let's open this bad boy up. Usually I'd go in from the top here, you know, just for the sake of preserving the box, but it's not especially exciting. It's just kind of plain black. So I'm going to go in the front way. Ooh. So yeah, you get the nice little peek through right here. You'll see he's peeking. And then you just kind of very satisfyingly, this happens every time. The instant I say satisfyingly, it doesn't really pull through. Maybe that's my bad. Maybe I should just follow it around the entire time instead of trying to make something out of nothing. You know what I mean? You kind of just have to let it flow. You get it. Okay, sometimes you gotta just get there. You gotta be nice and chill. Oh boy. Well, let's go around the other side, shall we? Maybe that's the, you know, obviously the Vice side is going to be a little more problematic because he's a demon and all. So maybe going with Revi here will give us the push we need to be true heroes. Yeah, there we go. See? No one can ever know. And you'll see inside, you'll have all of the boxes nicely stacked up. The top also makes a good tray for getting rid of trash. Here we have the box opened up. You will see no shortage of stuff here. There's 24 entire packs, and it should be a complete set. We have Revi and Vice front and center, all the Heisei riders, and the Reiwa ones in the corner. Let's just open these one by one, take a close look at the boxes, and see how it goes. Revi and Vice basically just swap places depending on which box design it is. You have all of the Heisei and Reiwa riders kind of circling around. Off to the side, we have a full listing of everyone. The nice thing is, if you bought a box, you get a complete set, going from Kuuga, Agito, Ryuki, Faiz, Blade, Hibiki, Kabuto, Den-O, Kiva, Decade, Double, O's, Forze, Wizard, Gaim, Drive, Ghost, Xaid, Build, Zio, 01, Saber, Revi, and Vice. On the other sides, it's the usual writing in Japanese, you know, safety warnings, companies, whatnot. The official distributed by Toei sticker that's always really fancy looking, and nothing really else. And here's the top of the two box designs just to give you a little look at Revi and Vice again, because you really need to see them a billion times. A very quick look at the unboxing process. If you're not familiar with candy toys, you basically just open this sucker up. Inside there's a figure and also the candy, which is some sort of a ramune flower thingy. They're actually pretty good. They're not super flavorful, but they're not supposed to be. Ore Sanjo! First up is Den-O. We have this very super mega popular rider who's been sticking around for an insanely long time. Him and the Imagine crew doing their thing. Beloved by pretty much everybody. I personally haven't seen Den-O yet, but I do like his design. I've experienced him throughout like crossover series and Decade and stuff like that. He has an entire train motif going on. You see the this really nice bright gold shimmer kind of goes to the back. And the back of his head has some train tracks because he's, again, train themed. For these Kamen Rider Kids figures and candy toys in general, they have a relatively nicely painted front, and the back is pretty much empty, but it does have a lot of nice sculpt work. He even has like little glove details and stuff. It's really nice. Like his pauldrons are fully painted. He's got the big bright red. He's got his belt nice and silver. A lot of silvers, a lot of reds, gold. Looking pretty good. He's doing his iconic I have arrived pose. Or Sanjo. I like it a lot. Gaboon. Next up is Kiva, who is a bat rider with a lot of cool chains. That's his whole thing, you know, you got to break the chain. He's got some really nice, like a dark metallic cherry red, and his eyes are a big solid bit of gold. You know, usually they're compound eyes, but for these smaller toys, it's kind of hard to capture that with the simplicity of them. You got Kiva the Third down here, that's his belt. This really cool armor. I like Kiva's armor a lot. It's another one I haven't seen yet, but it's on the list. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe all these really cool chains he has are actually too heavy for the suit actor, so they like sped up the process of having to give him his upgrade form so we could just wear that the whole time. On the back, you have a nice little bit of sculpting here. I think it's like the back of his kind of robe tassel thingy has ruffles in it, and then there's more unpainted chains down here. You have the dates, of course, because each one of these figures is actually, I believe these already were made, and they were just kind of gathering them together for this new Revice set. So like Deno has his original date of 2007, Kiva has 2008. I'm actually very impressed because they even went so far as to like sculpt the little back lines of the paneling for the fins on the top of the mask. That's pretty sweet. There's a big theme of having Bat Riders, so you have like Kamen Rider Knight, Kiva, Rogue, Evil. If only I had a tiny violin for him to play. Come on, Lex! Looks like we already have our first Reiwa rider, none other than one of the titular characters for this set, Kamen Rider Revi. The third box has already given us the first main dinosaur rider. You know, Sentai's had that title for, you know, decades. That's their bread and butter. But here in Kamen Rider, we finally get like a main dinosaur rider. Heck yeah. I mean, there was Putotera from O's, a couple other dinos scattered here and there, like Kamen Rider Zaya, technically. Regardless, we have Kamen Rider Revi here with the big, bold, bright pink, not magenta, decades magenta. He's got this really cool pink and teal combo here. He even has like the painted inner purple eyes, which is super impressive. And those big, bold, white teeth. He's so villainous. I love how like him and 01 have this sort of, is this guy, this is an evil, like imposing rider. Reiwa's got some really solid designs. You see he has like a little bit of a stripe of purple here on the chest. The Revice driver is not painted, but he does have the bits of teal over here. There's a little bit of spilling. But, you know, as I've said in many of my other candy toy reviews, these are cheap toys for children, and you should not judge them like they're hot toys or figure arts. Definitely not. I'm not really too sure about the patterning on the back because I haven't really paid much attention to the back of Revi or Vice in general. But he's got some sort of like descending stretchy part here that goes into his dino fins. I know that Vice has his tail, of course, but Revi is kind of just rocking this almost like a, I don't really know how to describe it. Anyway, he's also got his really cool shoulder pauldron things here popping out. Like, it's unpainted, but again, it's a nice, bright, vibrant pink, really. This is kind of like, you know, this gives me vibes of Keshi erasers, which I've also brought up in other reviews. They're those, like, the single color little figures, almost like the muscle ones, and I like those a lot. But these having a big splash of color, they look really nice together. I can't wait to get like some pics or something. Oop, just knocked him over. I really like Revice so far. It's been really solid for a first quarter Kamen Rider series, and it's getting up there with Build, X8, and Drive, which are my top 3 favorites, and 01 at a very close 4th. Maybe this might eclipse some of them too. Okay, I swear I'm not making this up. Box number 4 is Vice. I literally just grabbed like the top 4 and we already have Revi and Vice together. Isn't that crazy? This is Vice in his Rex genome form, and he's got like this big like plush toy looking dinosaur head helmet thing. which is also being sold by P. Bandai. What a surprise. I like the details on this a lot. You have the, all of the linings are there. The little teeth are there with the proper coloring. The little eye ears have the patches too. You'll see that Vice has his, his inner teeth are like actually supposed to be his hair from his usual design. I like that. You even have like a nice sort of deep lilac, like a very dark deep lilac. I don't know what that color is. It's almost like gray, like muddy, poisony. I'm just tossing out colors here and there. But of course you have the very vibrant pink as well to match with Revi, and he's got it on his little ankles here and his shoulder stuff. He also has that sort of dark purple lining here next to his little belt thingy. I say belt thingy, but it's kind of like in Saber where some of the riders have like this default sort of looking belt that, you know, the main gimmick is in their sword, so they just needed something on their belts to be riders, I guess. It's going to be dunking on Saber today, apparently. On the back, you'll see he's got even more of the stitching going down here, which is really nice. He has a little scarf that goes around that you might not notice at first, which is pretty cute. And he does have that little tail next to the rest of his suit with the kind of like little bit of spikiness going on there. He uses that thing like crazy, or maybe like 3 times, I guess. He's cool. I think that he came out really nice. And let's go ahead and bring in Ikki here. So now we have the dynamic duo, the 2 riders in one that's not double. Revi and Vice, they can buddy up. Dun, dun, dun. Actually, that was the Forze buddy sound, I just realized. A lot of references that people won't get if you don't get Kamen Rider, but if you're watching this video, maybe you might already know by now. I just have to guesstimate. So there actually is an upcoming set that has a new Revi and Vice, and I believe it's like the Kamen Rider Kids Final Form Set 2 or something, because they already did a lot of the final forms, but they're doing new ones, or rather they're doing ones they haven't done before. I don't know. I haven't looked super deep into it, but they do have a buddy up pose, so instead of like pretending you can do it, you can actually do it. But what you can do is actually do some remixes. Like you can straight up do the Rex Genome remix. Check this out. Buddy up. Wait, why am I down here though? Classic. And then I guess you could do Eagle. I think, was that the stacking one? I don't remember. Eagle, Eagle. Well, you can't say he didn't try. Now you can write him out as a pterodactyl. Flying by, complete. I can't tell if this is a dynamic punching pose or if Vice is just coming to Ikki to cry. Clock up. Clock over. Box number 5 is Kabuto, everyone's favorite cocky, egotistical speedster, this side of Reverse Flash. He's got his big kunai gun here, which I definitely didn't have to look up, even though I've seen Kabuto. It's a really great, solid series. It can get pretty dark like most of the early Heisei stuff does, and I love it. Maybe not the sushi episodes, but, you know, it's fine. Kabuto is in his cast-off form. Basically, in the show, the riders start off in a bulkier defensive version, and then they can cast off their armor. It kind of explodes everywhere, and they change into more nimble, less defensive variants of themselves. Change. Beetle. And this, like, part right here rises up. It's really cool. I love the effect work that's done on this show. I'm really just talking about the show. I'm just gushing right now. Sorry. He doesn't really have a whole lot of red. Like, most of his red goes to his helmet, but it does actually go around to the back too, which is pretty nice. He's got the big blue, like, visor. Wait. So the kunai gun does have a big blotch of gold on it, which is interesting because it's like almost more gold than colors you would expect on Kabuto. On the back, he has actually one of these little divots here. It kind of goes into like it looks like a helmet in and of itself. Like, here's the eyes, and here's like the mouth guard piece thingy, whatever it's called. He's got some nice line work here. You can see like the back buckle here. Not especially the most exciting rider to see from the back, I guess. But I like that he's got this action pose ready to go, ready to speed off. Maybe face off with Sasword or something. Sasword power. Shonenyo. That's all I know from that song. We've got Hibiki here. Haven't seen his show. So box number 6 is Hibiki, who is a technically not supposed to be a Kamen Rider because his show was supposed to be something else, but then they made it into Kamen Rider. It's a little unorthodox. His transformation doesn't really involve a belt. He puts like a thing up to his head and goes ding, ding, and then he transforms. And then he uses these big drummy drums to bash people. It's very, very strange, but kind of cool. So he like puts a symbol on the enemies and then just goes dun 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 dun. So Hibiki here is actually cast in like an entirely shiny purple. Regular color is supposed to be, I forgot what it's called. I think it starts with an M, but it's a very luminescent, bright, unique purple color, and they really prided themselves on the suit being that. They did a very good job for what they could. I mean, he's probably the most detailed one so far. He's got like tons of silver up here. He's got the gold on his little like adornment here. He's got the entire wraparound of red. Almost kind of, his helmet really always gave me Spider-Man 2099 vibes, and I kind of dig that a lot. And he's got like the big red teeth coming up. Speaking of red, all of this is red, like from his arms to the drums. It's a solid red coloring. He's got like a silver arm bracelet type thingy here, and that goes over about halfway. And then the chest area has like a portion of silver here because his arm's going over it. He has his belt here with like a sort of mahogany color and the silver etchings. On the back, since it's kind of glossy, it's a little bit more difficult to make out the details. Maybe it looks better on camera, but he has like little ridges for his mask and the little back part here. Belt. It's all kind of standard stuff. You know how it is. The front is where it shines. Don't really know much about him besides he beats up crabs and stuff. I seem to have backloaded like all of the Inoue series, so we'll see how it goes. I like it. I like it a lot. Han up. Number 7 is Blade, a very bright silver rider with a lot of really cool design adornments. He's already fallen on the ground. He's been betrayed so many times that he just can't handle it anymore. I thought Blade was a really cool series as well. Very early Heisei, very dark. Also has a lot of very unintentionally funny moments, but again, I'm digressing to talk about the series instead of the figure in front of me because I love both. So Blade has a very big like sword head. He's got the blade rouser here, very nicely painted with the red eyes and stuff. He's even got his little green emblem here. It always looked like he had like a frowny face. You know, it reminds me of the second opening of Blade where he's kind of standing over the camera and gets angry and then he punches down. I love that opening so much. I think it's a lot better than Blade Brave, but maybe I'm being controversial. I didn't notice this at first, but he has the nice little yellow lines that go down the side of his mask. They even got that detail too. The blade buckle has a little bit of red painted on, a lot of the silvers here. His helmet is very detailed. I've never really paid too much attention to the multiple layers of spikery going on there. He's also got some really nice shoulder pauldron painting again. There's like little silver dots that go across, but it's not quite a belt. It's like a sash or something. It extends to the back of him, which looks like he's dabbing on the haters. He's got this big spike behind the other spike. And then down here, he has like a nice little inward pattern that goes over to his belt. And then the other sort of adornments down here. He's almost got like a Nomura-esque belt level design. Belt here, straps here, belts there, and belt boots. And then even on like his little hand here, he's got some more belts. Has Blade just been a Nomura design this whole time? Have I been wrong? Huh. He's in his classic pose of when he's got the blade rouser down in the ground. They cut it off, obviously, stubbed it, because otherwise he wouldn't be able to stand up. His cards are based around spades, so he's got spades on his helmet. Actually, something I just noticed, if you look really closely down here where he's holding the blade rouser, it appears to show like the actual little fingers holding it. I actually didn't see that the first pass through. Interesting. That just goes to show you there's a lot of details you can squeeze into one of these tiny figures. Tachibana-san! Nasa mite desu! Kue! Open your eyes for the next Faiz. Box number 8 is Faiz, a dude from a series that is just full of misunderstandings and miscommunications. Poor dude's just trying to live his life and he gets bullied by everyone. Can you believe that? How dare. Faiz is a really sleek design with a lot of really cool details in him. Like, they captured this whole middle part here that's all like techie splitty with his big green emblem in the center, bright eye circles next to his shark jaw lines, because Faiz actually initially was going to be a shark rider. I guess that went to Abyss at some point, but the motif kind of sticks around a bit from the initial design, so you have like the shark teeth. I love that about Faiz. He's very techie. You know, he gets this suit from a suitcase. He's got to assemble it old school style, like, you know, early 2000s tech. You got to piece it together yourself during the heat of battle.
Back in my day, we didn't have these newfangled belts that would automatically transform and make 45-second long jingles.
Looking at you, Xross Saber. Still pretty cool, though. You have the belt in its solid silver. You almost couldn't tell it was a little flip phone cell phone down there. Does he have the Faiz accelerator on? Start up. He is primarily silver, obviously, all the tech stuff. He's got his little kicky here. The thing he attaches to his foot, rather around his ankle or something, as he's ready to do a big finisher on you. Let's see if there's anything interesting on the back. You know, there's only so many times you can say, oh, on the back he has this line with this pauldron and these things, but I'm looking for things to point out. You know, there's he's got a little bit of a knee bend here. That's something interesting. From 2003, he's probably older than a lot of people watching this right now. Duh. It's all about this cool pose he's doing here. You know, he's crouching down. You know, once he crouches down, you are done for. He is going to jump. He's going to head right towards you with that big, bright finishing drill thingy, and then phase through you, and ends justifies the means. Getting pretty close to recreating some of those funny decade net videos. Adovento. Box number 9 is Ryuki, a man who is forced to fight in a mirror world battle. Basically, there's a bunch of other riders, and the last one standing gets to fight a boss and stuff like that to save someone. I can't really explain it without spoiling it, so I won't. But Ryuki has a very, very cool design. He's got this big dragon motif up here that has this little red dot in the center. He's got his entire mask is really cool because it's sort of like vents. You know, like in the series, venting, Not Among Us, is very, very prominent. And I just love how his compound eyes are blocked out by the vents, and it's very, very menacing. Very cool. He has like the, you know, the early Heisei sort of basic design. He's got like the chest plate here. The rest of him is just, you know, a couple of bolts and boots. He has his little drag visor, nicely painted silver. His arm pose is covering the V-buckle, of course, but that's totally fine. On the back, he has his little like hooky thingies here. I'm getting worse at describing these all the time. But he has like these silver nubs they're not painted silver, obviously, but it's part of his design. You know, they're vents. He's venting all over the place, and the rest is basic boots. Now, if only he came with drag redder, am I right? You could just hop on there and just go whoosh, whoosh, tatakai, tatakai, raida, tatakai, tatakai, shing, sparkle, sparkle. Box number 10 is Agito, the Warrior of the Sun. Basically, it was supposed to be like a sequel to Kuuga, which is the first Heisei rider, but then they ended up going a whole different direction. I got like 13 episodes in and kind of petered off, but I should probably get back into it. He's very, very shiny gold and cool. I love that pose. It's kind of like the opposite of Kuuga. Basically, Kuuga was fighting like off evil creatures, but Agito is fighting off angels and stuff. That was always a really cool premise, but I didn't really continue onward. I'm so bad. I need to catch up on these. He's got you know, the big those big horns. Obviously, you can't ignore that. Almost like deer antlers, but that's because normally he's kind of like this. And he only takes out the other fins when he's doing some serious fighting. Little gem in the center colored too. The attention to detail is so nice. His eyes are kind of like bleeding over. It looks like he's crying bloody tears, which might be thematic of some kind. I wouldn't know. I haven't gotten that far yet. But he does have a nice gold armor. I do really enjoy his design, how it is very reminiscent of Kuuga while not quite being it. It's its own thing, and I like that a lot. Yeah, very ferocious pose. He's coming at you. On the back, same as usual, but The fins do have the outlining as well. He's got a silver lining only halfway through. Maybe, again, that's also symbolic of the series. And then the rest is like bulky armor. Very nice. Very shiny. In the next installment of I Swear I'm Not Making This Up, number 11's Kuuga. Thumbs up. Good old Kuuga, a man of 2,000 skills, everyone's favorite Godai Yusuke, with his big thumbs up, looking like just a classic little bean right here. Just such a nice, solid design that literally brought Kamen Rider back to life after it died for like a decade, I think. I don't remember. I'll have to do some more research on this, but I do remember that basically at the end of the Showa era, they were kind of just like, Kamen Rider's not doing so well, let's not do that. And then suddenly Kuuga came back, bam, pow. Everyone loves it. Thank you, Kuuga, for keeping Kamen Rider alive to this modern era. He's got the nice big gold crest, so, you know, kind of the opposite direction of Agito because it came first. And you can see they're very reminiscent designs. I'll bring in Agito in a second, but he's got like a more, kind of almost like a more menacing look because his final form, like his ultimate stuff, is super, super menacing and like solid black coloring with gold adornments. I love it so much. He's a guy that doesn't want to fight. He just wants peace. But he has to fight because no one else can take down the Gorongi, who are the enemies. You have the nice arkle down below, bit of gold across the legs. Just a nice solid design. You even have like the little shiny diamonds and his arm gauntlets. And of course the thumbs up, you know it. On the back, even more plain than usual. Not much to say. And here you can really see the comparison of how this could be a sequel to Kuuga. Basically, they mentioned Kuuga like a few times at the start of the series, and then they kind of just gave up on that and made it its own thing. Thank you, Kuuga. The saber in your hand. Box number 12, finishing off the first layer, is Saber, the flame swordsman, basically. Dude loves books. Regardless of how you feel about the series, the designs are pretty fire. I do enjoy the designs a lot. You'll see that he has a very big sword on his head because he does actually become a sword too in several ways. I don't even know how to begin to explain it, so I won't. It seems like for his design, instead of having the red visor, they've given him gold. Like, usually, you know, his visor is like a big, bright, flaming red. He's kind of giving me like Gates vibes, like, because it's not his usual coloring. Anyway, he's got the big Kainken Rekka, which is the name of his sword. I feel like the swords in Saber are a little too hard to pronounce sometimes, but maybe I'm just a dummy. He has his little Brave Dragon shoulder thingy here, which is pretty neat. I want to say this actually has more paint than the figure arts does. His little side fins kind of are missing a little bit of red over there, but that's totally fine. He has a big white set of pants here because of how wide it has to be. His little skirt is kind of off to the side here. Still pretty decently painted. The sword itself, you know how it is. Front painted, back not. Usual stuff. However, what you can't see from that angle because of the sword is his hand. So he has the saber in this hand, but not in that hand. He almost looks like he's also dabbing. This is a very cursed unboxing. You'll see that he does have his little hand here. And unlike the figure arts, you don't have to unattach and reattach the little parts on the hand when you want to swap them. I really am just dunking on Saber. I'm not trying to be rude. He's got his like back spike thingy here. The rest of his skirt goes over here. I do really enjoy the way his little arm kind of creates like an optical illusion. From the front, the Kainken Rekka is both hands, right? Like this looks like he's holding it with two hands. But then he has the other arm here, so then it looks weird. I don't know how to describe it. The saber in your hand is a pen to write it down. Interestingly enough, you could actually write with the saber finger puppet. You could say like, I wish the final form was called Saber Penultimate Dragon. Then it gets grabbed by King Arthur and gets swung around like twice in this series. Remember King of Arthur? I think they forgot about King of Arthur except for the bad guy using a recolor. Let's move on from Saber. Let's move on from Saber. Halfway done with the box. We still have so many riders left to go. Z01, 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 Z01. Box number 13 is 01, the first Reiwa rider. He is bold and brash and a comedian. I like Aruto. He's a good guy. He knows what he's doing. I kind of wish it was a little easy to go with him now, but, you know, that's maybe at some point. Or maybe they've done it and I missed out. Either way, 01 is a ferocious looking design with the big bold eyes, looking very angry. There's a lot of shots in the series where he's really menacing, and I really do appreciate that. The 01 driver, unpainted, he's got the big rims here, the big fins rather, doing his classic pose. Man, it looks so nice. I love 01. That was a really good show. I mean, obviously the tournament art kind of dragged, but for the most part, especially with the redemption of the movies, man, it was so good. Well, maybe not the last 01 others, but I digress. He has some like sort of techie wings over here, and the little back of the belt. Not really much else. He doesn't really have a progress key he's holding or anything, or his attached cases or whatnot. But he's looking pretty solid. Very you know, new era, trying to be more simple like Kuuga. I really dig it. Here's all three of the Reiwa riders together: 01 Saber and Revice. A very, very strong start, Saber, and a very, very strong... I'm sorry. It's too easy. Now I just kind of wish I had like a little Vulcan or Jin or anyone to go with him. Rising Hopper! Wait, I need to do an Aruto joke, don't I? Someone froze Kuuga. Kuuga's a cool guy. Hi! Aruto ja Naito! I mean, if Kuuga wasn't frozen before, he is now. Anyway, box number 14 is Zo, the heir to all time, and also the second anniversary series, aka it's basically Decade Season 2. I actually really like Zo's design a lot. He is supposed to be clock-oriented. You know, his antennas here are bouncing outward with the hour hand and the minute hand. He's doing his classic pose, which he actually really doesn't do in the show. He only really like does it in the preview movie they put out or something. He's got a nice splash of pink going throughout the eyes and the smaller hand here and his sort of crescent moon thingies. And then also the sort of nice, almost like a purplish ivory color here that goes across the face, literally like it's supposed to be the face of a watch that is his face, that also goes around the sides here. You have the Ziku driver cast in white with the little like watch band going down to it. It is a really enjoyable design. And the ride watches are probably one of my favorite gimmicks because I just love how they're able to incorporate like literally every single rider. They have their face on it with the unique colors, with multiple jingles. It's great. And that's a reason why it sold like $1 bajillion too. On the back, you'll see the entirety of the watch face. The rest of the wrist part, rather, goes across his head. And then there's sort of the standard jetpack type thingy here. I always call it a jetpack. Maybe that's just like a Gundam type term thing. I don't know. He does have also in his arms the spots for the ride watches, or rather, I think those are actually supposed to be the ride watches in there, but I can't really tell. Kind of at a weird angle here. Maybe on camera it looks a little more ride watchy. Yeah, I think so. I think because they usually use like the blank ride watches or something like that. I don't know. I'm going to bring in 01 so that these two guys can have their Reiwa the First Generation crossover movie moment. I'm going to take your memories. No, you have to fight me first. Okay, let's fight. Boom, bam, 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 bam. Who wins? Don't know. Rider timing, Zo. Are you ready? Box number 15 is the genius scientist himself, Build, and there's no shortage of things to say about this series. I could gush all day, every day. One of my favorites. You have this big, bright coloring with the metallic blue and the red. You have the rabbit and the tank. A classic design. It's so nice. You have the little bit of white in the center, which I never really got that until when I got the figure arts. I realized, oh, there's something there. That's actually like a little white part. Yeah. Man, this came out really nice. Like, I mean, you can even see like the nice sculpting of the build driver has the full bottles in it for Rabbit and Tank. Not painted. Ever get the feeling of deja vu? He's got the rabbit feet and the tank treads. He's doing his classic pose. You know the one. He's found the winning formula. Looking for love and peace. What more can you say? It's just perfect. Now on the back, even though it's just like a solid color as always, he has like almost these sort of honeycomb patterns here, and then all the different stripings, and the belt, of course, the belt as always. Now, I wasn't the hugest fan of the way that they handled the arc in Zio, but I think the crossover movie was pretty okay. If only I had a little banjo and a grease and a gentoku, and if only I could bring everyone in as little figures. Mighty jump, mighty kick, mighty action, X. We seem to be going in backwards order now, which is interesting because we are at box number 16 with Xaid, a doctor gamer who's got a heart of gold and a passion for playing. Good boy Hojo Emu, that's right. I love Xaid too, it's so good! Bright, pink. I can't keep saying bright and vibrant, but that is all the descriptors I have, apparently. There's a lot of controversy where people are like, these designs are too wacky and zany for me, but when I saw these... Okay, to be fair, I was in that camp too, but I am a changed man. After watching, I became enamored, and I love every single design, and if it's garish and loud to people, that's cool, because it has to be. Xaid is in your face and proud of it. You have the spiky hair, you have the big visor with the sort of almost like mustache looking mouth thing with the little green emblem in there and the inward eyes. I think those are, I was gonna say they're embossed, but it looks like the outer visor actually goes inward to have a feeling of depth. The bottom of the head is a very shiny silver that goes to the chest plate. Buttons aren't painted, but wouldn't expect that, or the rider gauge. However, it looks like the gamer driver is kind of painted. Like it's like halfway-ish. He's doing the iconic level up pose. He's got like a big chunk of arm over here. Proportion's kind of weird, but it's a chibi figure. And he's got like a bit of black coloring for the arms too. Yeah, seriously, I don't know what's going on here. Yo, Emu, I think you're gonna have to ask Taiga or something to help you out. Then he's also got the different colored green for the shoes. So the gamer driver is more like a yellow green, but the other greens on Xaid are like a very neon green. Again, in your face, and loving it. Oh, even the sides are painted. That's interesting. What I'm curious about is in the back with the gamer face, I'm guessing it's probably going to be, yeah, it's nothing. So in Xaid, basically every character has a level 1 form where they're kind of like a big chunky NES sprite, and then a level 2 form where they become like the regular rider. So when you level up, the original face goes on your back, so you just have like this big chunky dude hanging off of you. It's great. I didn't think how much I would love the series until I watched it, you know? Little Diggle back in like 2016 was like, what is this dumb thing? How can there be funny thing like this in Japan? How do I watch it? And then I never did, and then fast forward to now, and I have seen way too many, but not enough. The real star of this is the sculpting of the head fins and the back hair, and of course the little face, as we've already talked about. The back of the arms also has the nice detail too. Now, Build an Xaid Final, that is a stellar film. That is probably one of the best crossover films, bar none. Don't at me or do at me. It's your choice. Kaigan ore. Let's go, Kakugo. Go, 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 ghosto. Go, go, go. Nice recovery. Box number 17 is Ghost, a very divisive rider series. First appeared in the Drive movie as a cameo, looking really cool, like doing all sorts of spectral haunts and flying around and doing like shoulder grabs. And then apparently that was too scary for kids, so they changed it, and the series, I don't even know how to begin to describe it. It's by the person who wrote Saber, or rather vice versa, if this box set was going in order. So that should be more than enough to describe things. The whole idea behind Ghost is that he's a guy who kind of like comes back after dying, and then he kind of keeps dying and coming back and dying and coming back, and you kind of just don't really get fully invested in it. But he becomes really cool in crossover films. Like, you know, once he's out of the series writing and stuff, he shines. I do like Ghost, except I really wish that he kept his parka hood on, because then he looks really cool. Because all the characters like have really cool hoodies, and then they just take them off. Like, come on, keep them on. Yeah, Ghost has a really cool design. He's got like a spiky unicorn horn sticking out here. He has like a bright orange mask. There's even some connecty sculpey work that goes into there. 90% of this figure is just the molded black coloring, but he does have a lighter orange on the chest. The Ghost Driver has a sort of bluish silver to it. Like he's got a little handle here you can pull on and change stuff. He's doing his pose, like I forgot what it was called. I'm sorry, Ghost. And then some silver on the armbands and one of the little buckles down here on the back. Surprise, surprise, solid black. There's the hoodie that they always take off. See, like this whole thing, the whole gimmick with Ghost is that he has these things called icons, EYE. They're little like circle thingies, and you put them in the Ghost Driver, and then he changes forms based off of the clothing that the ghosts from history become. And that was a fun premise. I mean, I will say that I enjoyed the first like 13 episodes of Ghost, because that was a whole series that they kind of just smushed into that, and then they had to like change writers and crazy stuff happened. Citation needed on everything. I did not finish Ghost either. Now, I did enjoy the Ghost and X8 crossover film because they got together and fought a giant Pac-Man, and I won't provide context, and you don't need context. Go watch it at some point. You might have to watch a lot of series first. Sapurai's number 18 is Drive. I love Drive. Start your engine. It's so perfect. Just the amount of crazy stuff that happens in that show, all the forms, the Roid Mudes, Mach, Chaser, everyone is great. Kiriko, are you kidding me? She's awesome. Everyone's just heart, brain. There is nothing more I can say than the fact that I love Drive so much. This dude, Shinosuke, he's always in top gear. He is an insanely famous actor in Japan, and it's very hard to get him for stuff. He's got a car for a head. Literally, spoiler alert right here. Boy, does this transition really well into a tiny candy toy, doesn't it? He's got a nice pinstripe right here with a bit of blue. He's got the Drive logo right there. That's kind of in the same, it's the same plastic. Yeah, it's just kind of indented inward a little bit. It looks like they decided to just straight up go silver for his eyes. I can understand why they didn't do blue, I guess, because it's cheaper to just do it this way. And, you know, his eyes are supposed to light up. Actually, if I look closer, they're kind of slightly a different color. I think, does this come across on camera? How many times am I going to say that? It looks more like a granite gray than the normal silver. He's in the middle of changing shift cars. He's pulling on it, ready to go. Down here, you got Beltsun. You have a nice race car red coloring. You got the red down here as well on the back. He is just loaded with mechanical details. He's got all the vents, and he's got the entire tire that goes across him, which is, it's kind of blocked because he's in the middle of, you know, changing tires. Tire Kokan. These three are just perfection. If you want to get anyone into Kamen Rider, you show them one of these. You'll have a great time. I would say Build is definitely the place to start. I know I'm kind of using this unboxing as a springboard into talking about getting people into Kamen Rider, but that's kind of the whole point of unboxings anyway, to show off cool stuff that maybe you haven't seen before and describe them. I think it'd be harder to get people into X8 because, like, you know, the big gamer aesthetic, and some people are put off by the design. Build is just, like, a twist and turn every episode. Crazy stuff happens. Drive, I think that'd be a good place to start, too, but I would rather show someone Build, and I have done that many times. Okay, quick interlude here. I'm seeing where the box is going, so it looks like from the bottom, snaking to the front. appears to be the proper order for the modern Heisei. And the top of the box was the original Heisei, and then the front two over here, like on the right side, were Revi and Vice. I see what you're getting at, Bandai. And I now understand that, but there's only 6 boxes left, so it's a little too late to adjust. Whatever. Doing this live. Orange. Box number 19 is Gaim, the OG Fruit Ninja. These were the figures that I saw when I would go to import stores back in the day, not knowing what Kamen Rider was, thinking, oh, there's a funny Fruit Ninja toy. I want to buy like the big watermelon guy. And I did, and now I know much better, and Gaim was a pretty decent series with, you know, everything's totally normal, just a bunch of kids playing with fruits, and nothing goes wrong. Nothing goes wrong. You know, all of the Gaim characters are basically Sengoku warriors, or technically they're not even Kamen Riders, they're like armor riders. So he has like his big golden crest here, the gold kind of like sideburn kind of thingies. His visor is an orange, which is pretty sweet. He's got the mouth plate. He's got his weapons, which I'm blanking on right now. And they're pretty nicely detailed too. And then the Sengoku driver is kind of poking down there. You can kind of see a little bit of a lock seed, the orange lock seed down there. I can kind of see it. I don't, again, camera, not sure. And then these little golden colorings on the boots. He has on his shoulders the nice bright orange armor, and then on the back you have a bunch of these sort of like samurai dot thingies. I don't know if there's a term for that. And then his little back part kind of looks like a heart almost. Depending on the lock seed you use, that becomes armor that unfolds onto you. So like the shoulder stuff and this back part fold out of an orange that drops onto your head, and then you become the warrior. It's very, very unique and very interesting. You know, I wasn't privy to it back in 2013, but now I understand. Now I get it. It's also Team Rider's favorite series because they mention Gaim every single live stream, and they just keep saying Gaim and Gaim and Gaim and Gaim and Gaim and Gaim. The Gaim and Drive movie was really cool. I really, really like Dragon Fruit Energy. It's a really fun, evil design, and I love the way that they trade off their different special abilities and stuff. It's really cool. Since they're going backwards, they're just going to end up at double at this point. Furame. Please. Number 20 is Wizard, who is a very, well, another not rider, basically. He uses a lot of magic rings and stuff to transform into different elemental things. Very descriptive. He's got this little shooty gun. I forgot the name of it too. I like Wizard's design, and the way that he fights is really cool because he does a bunch of like sick flips, and he like swooshes his cape around and does like a lot of really cool magical beams and stuff. Think like Doctor Strange, except his magic is based primarily on sort of gemstones and whatnot. His entire face is a gemstone. This is like the ring he puts on. And this default form is the flame. He's got a very polite driver too. It's, you know, it always says please and stuff. There's a bad guy whose driver says now, and that shows he's evil. Ooh, he's not polite. Wizard here has a nice little golden adornment there. His entire face is sort of like a polygonal texture to kind of recapture the gemstone, the red one. He's got like abs. I never really quite knew how to describe them. He has like magic abs from his cape. I don't know. It looks like he does actually have a little bit of silver here. It almost looks like a silver spoon, really. The gun, not so much, but he does have the red bands. And his cape has the silver tassels? I don't know. Back is just the regular stuff. There's his cape. That's it. That's all you need. You know, since his head is the ring, the indentation here goes all the way around the back of the helmet. And he's got the little part where I guess it'd be tied, screwed in or whatnot. Wizard is a pretty cool design of a lot of fun variety, but his show's a little... I really like the fights and infinity, but I wasn't the hugest fan of the show. It kind of meanders. Magic, the magic, the magic, the show time. 3, 2, 1. Box number 21 is Fourze, little high schooler dude who just wants to be friends with everyone. I can relate to Fourze the most. If I was a rider, I'd probably be Gentaro, honestly. Fourze is a very happy-go-lucky, positive, fun series about a little rider club in high school that wants to explore the cosmos. And who better to do it than a really fun dude who wants to be friends with literally everybody? It's a little too real. I like Fourze. Fourze is fun. Fourze is chipper. Then again, I'm biased because I'm a very positive, goofy person, and Fourze just, like, scratches all the right itches. He's got a rocket for a head. The whole, like, face of him kind of looks like he's got, like, again, the angry eyebrows and the sort of almost angry-looking eyes. But he's actually a good guy. They've got, like, a nice painted silver there, and the green jewel inside, the big, bright eyes. A lot of black lines and stuff. I bet some paneling would really do these figures wonders. He's got the Forze driver down here with all the Astro switches in silvery blue, as we've seen before. Also the same color as the side fins, I believe. Now he's also got these symbols. These are not PlayStation symbols. These are the Astro switches he uses, basically. And the rest of him, pure white. He's got like his little rocket pack thingy here. Some nice indentations of line stuff. I'm really running out of descriptors here. I'm sorry. This has been going on for a very long time, but I'm having a lot of fun. He's a spaceman. It's a spacesuit, basically. You know what a spacesuit is. He goes rocketing. He goes like, whoosh. You've come to the right neighborhood, friend. Imagine if I went through the effort to change the background to space. Wouldn't that be something? Uchu Kita!
You count the medals, 1, 2, and 3. Life goes on, and it goes coming to pose.
Number 22 is O's, the metal-using, scanning charger, animal swapping, really cool dude who's, you know, AG, one of my faves. He's just wandering around trying to make the world a better place, and then he has to join a big floating arm that possesses a dude in order to help protect the world from yummy stuff. Descriptions like that are why I love explaining Kamen Rider to people, because it's kind of like JoJo, where when you describe it out of context, it still makes no sense. So we have O's here, Tatoba, Taka Torabata. O's uses these metals to change into different forms based on what he's given by Ankh, who's the floating arm dude. He tosses them over, and those core metals are used by the baddies because they're like the essence of them. It's weird. I love it. Right now, he's kind of doing like this pose may look like he hurt his tummy, or maybe he had something bad. He got a little food poisoning, but he's actually in the middle of changing forms or scanning with the scanner, whichever thing he's doing right now. He does have these claws here that come out when he's on the attack. He has the typical metallic coloring as pretty much most of the figures have had, except his hawk coloring up here is a little more like candy-ish. I like it a lot. Another very fierce looking face. He's got the O-ring down here. And another, well, that's not a term, it's just the ring on his chest. The scanner has the gold on it. His gauntlets and the claws are yellow for the tiger. And then you have the green feet below. I haven't really paid much attention to O's from the back, so if you gave me this and you like hid the fins, I'd probably say it was either Faiz or Kuuga, really. These are the closest medals I have. Mewtwo, Raikou, and a giant Sobble acrylic keychain. Does that work? I don't think so.
Cyclone Joker!
The 23rd semifinal rider is indeed Double, who is the 2-in-1 detective rider. Now, Revi and Vice are Revice together based off of an inner demon, but Double here is two detectives, Philip and Shotaro, and they basically use Gaia memories to combine in a very interesting way, because Philip actually has to like go into the body. So his normal body like falls, and 90% of the time he kind of just like falls on the ground and no one catches him. Like maybe Akiko gets him twice, but you think they would have had like a pillow system or something. Anyway, we're not here for that. We're here to look at the nice big colors here. We have the cyclone side. I need more synonyms for metallic, but you get the picture. He is shining. He's got like the scarf, you know, Double has this really cool scarf that flows, and it's a big defining feature of the character. It's not really big, you know what I mean. He's a half and half dude. So the other side is the Joker side, and this one has like the spiky ridges, and you can really tell there's a lot of really fun details in there. It's very, very spiky. I mean, it's the same skin basically, and then the chest has the yellow and purple. So you have Joker, Cyclone, and they can each kind of be their own, sort of. Like with the Lost Driver, you can have Joker. And maybe at some point there was a Cyclone. I don't remember. I think maybe it was probably like one of those extended stories or something. The Double Driver is painted in red to match the eyes, and the little diamond that's in the double, which is the little fins here, make the W kind of. He has the sort of similar silver striping that goes only a little portion of the way to the back, and the back, as expected, same thing, but it looks like the priority, since it's the solid color, goes to Joker. He splitsies. 4 heads are better than 1. Wait, Now we're down to the final figure. Boy, it's been a long road, hasn't it? We've been on this road for a very long time. Let's finish this up with a nice, solid... empty Honore Decado! Final Kamen Rider Decade! And for the final installment of I seriously 100% did not engineer this video in a hilarious way, the last figure is indeed Decade, which is pretty sweet. I gotta say, he's a good place to end. I really actually like Decade a lot. I know people are kind of down on his series because it didn't have a proper ending, and you know, you go into the movie thinking, you know, they had that really cool preview with like Kivala fighting him and stuff, and then there was like he was in the water and it looked really cool. Turns out that was a dream sequence at the start of the movie, and then you're like, okay, well, there goes my proper ending for Decade. I really like Decade. I'm a big fan of Masahiro Inoue, who's the actor, and I love the swagger he brings, and he's always down to come back. Though after the last special, I don't think he'll be back, but, you know, wherever there's money to be made, there will be a Neo Decade Complete Omega Hyper Ultram Form 77, right? He has all this really nice striping down the front, the metallic green eyes, metallic. Sort of a glossy black look here with the yellow gem at the top. You have the side connectors for the mask piece. You have his sort of like cross pattern here. Something I never understood. I don't think I ever found a proper explanation. One side of him is usually like the stripes are colored in white, but then one of them is left over pink. And I don't know if that was an intentional choice or not, but it always bugged me. He's also got some little abs down here next to the Deca driver, which he's in the process of opening up. Maybe he's changing into Kuuga, or maybe even becoming Zio or Build, or maybe one day 01. He also does have, I just noticed, a little bit of silver on the bottom of the mask, and the stripy pattern over here next to his shoes, and some of the similar lines that Blade had to kind of imply that there's little fingers. On the back, it is just solid magenta, not pink, magenta. There's his big stripe down here, which would usually be seen on the front, but since he's in the middle of transforming or doing a Final Kamen Rider or an Attack Rider of some kind, you can see it on the back here with the belt. Usual stuff, the spikes come in the back. Some 2009. Man, that was so long ago, jeez. So here's our 2 anniversary riders together, looking very cool. It's really nice to be able to have all these little figures so I can do silly stuff with them like this. Kuuga, Agito, Ryuki, Faiz, Blade. Hibiki, Kabuto, Dano, Kiva, Decade. Double Ozu, Forze. Wizard, Gaim, Drive. Ghosto, Exero, Buildo, ZEO, 01 Saber, Revice. And that was the Kamen Rider Kids Revice Toujou set. I've been interested in getting some of these for a while now, especially the Pokemon candy toy ones. I think I got a few in the past, but none of the Kamen Rider stuff. So what better time to grab them than an entire box of 24 that has the 20 Heisei riders plus 4 of the newer Reiwa riders. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you had a good time with this relatively big review. I kind of got caught up in my own fun. I hope you didn't mind that too much. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.